if you want to use Sino optimally, if you want to use Nilo, Deha, and Al Haytham optimally, Nahida is going to be a great pull for you, and I'm here to tell you why. What's going on, YouTube? Ledger here once again. This time at you again with some more Genshin Impact, and I want to talk about Nahida. Nahida is coming out. The live stream is coming on tomorrow as a recording. By the time you see this, the live stream will probably have already played. And Nahida is coming, and I think she's going to be, well, no character is a must pull, but I think she's going to be up there in the top 5 best characters in the game, right? I'm confident in that. You know, I'm calling it. If it's not true, then hold me accountable. I don't care. But I think I'm right anyway. All right. So, first, I do want to remind you guys, definitely subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. That definitely helps me out. If you're interested in content like this, different analysis on characters, different recommendations I might have, discussions, even my reaction type content, take a look in the channel and see what you like. If you do like what you see, definitely subscribe to the channel. That helps me out, and that will help you out too, because you'll be able to see more of my content. So there we go. All right, but let's get into Nahida and why I think she's going to be great. Right now, one of the main reasons why I put her so high up is her passive. Right, one of her passives, I believe, was A4 passive. One of her passives, what it does is, let's take a C2 Kazuha, right? Kazuha C2, and throw that on a passive, right? That's essentially what it does. The highest EM character on the team is going to transfer over 25% of their EM to the active character, right? So most likely it's going to be Nahida. But let's say if you have Kazuha, she'll use Kazuha's EM to do that transfer, right? So if you have 1,000 EM, which would be easy to do with Nahida, she's going to transfer 250 EM to the active character during her burst. That's amazing. That's great. And that's going to be essential to the Sumeru characters. Because as we've seen, all the Sumeru characters, they want EM. They love it. It's great for them, right? It's almost as better than crit in most cases, right? Essentially, Nahida's going to be giving a stat that's more valuable than crit to your active character, right? And that's amazing. She's going to be giving the most EM that most characters are going to be able to do, right? So that's the thing, right? Now, most people don't have that many sources of EM to be transferred, right? Because a lot of the ways to transfer EM is for whales. You got C2 Kazuha, you got LG. That's a whale tactic, right? And I'll be able to do that. I have C2 Kazuha, I have LG at the end, but not everybody does, right? So you're kind of limited to sources like Sucrose and instructors, right? That's not enough for these characters, for characters like Sino, for characters like Nilo, and I'm assuming future characters too, right? So that's the thing. So that's going to be invaluable. I think she's going to be extremely valuable to the Sumeru cast, even more so than Raiden was to the Inazuma cast, right? Because Raiden was really good for the Inazuma cast, right? Because she supplied energy, and a lot of those casts had very high energy costs. But yeah, Raiden kind of solved that. You didn't have to use her with them, but she was damn helpful. But for Nahida, I feel like you're going to really, really want to use her with the Sumeru cast. I think she's going to be pretty essential. So that's the thing. And that EM transfer is going to be one of those main things, right? Another part of her kit that I want to go into detail on is her skill, right? Now her skill is also right up there with that passive, right? Because she's going to be a constant source of dendro application. Like so what happens is she marks enemies, right? With her skill, right? She essentially can mark, I believe it was up to 8 enemies, and she's going to link them, and she's going to put a debuff on them. So what happens is when you hit one of those marked enemies, right, with the reaction, right? So let's say you hit them with Electro, which causes spread. With Aggravate or Quicken, what's going to do is every 2.5 seconds, it's going to trigger that E, and everybody marked is going to get some dendro damage. And not only that, they're going to get dendro applied to them. How much dendro? 1.5 U. Do you know what that means? Probably not. So just to tell you what that means, if you don't, she's going to just apply Dendron to them very strongly, right? So meaning that let's say you hit her with one of Kokumi's fish, right? You applied Hydro to them. That Dendro is going to stay on them, so you can hit them with some more Hydro, and then you'll be able to get even more seeds. So as you can see, that's going to be great for certain characters, like Nilou, for example, right? That's going to be spectacular for Nilou because she's going to have a constant source of Dendro application with 100% uptime, right? With 100% uptime, right? So you're going to get more seeds. That means more damage, and that's that. Like Nilou's team is going to be complete. Get Cole off the team, right? She ain't doing enough, right? You're going to have her on there with the Traveler, and that's going to be immaculate. Nilou's going to be kicking ass, right? Then you have Sino. She has 100% uptime and it lasts 25 seconds, right? So that you can have that up throughout all of Sino's Q duration, right? So that's going to help him out, and it's going to be better. It's going to be better than Traveler for him because now you're not confined to his burst. So you have more mobility doing that, and she's doing a lot of damage herself. It's not just applying Dendro, it's doing a good amount of damage because she scales very well on EM, right? And attack too. So that's the thing when it comes to that, right? So she's going to be key to making Sino and Nilou much stronger. I think she's going to be helping out Nilou more than she's going to be helping out Sino, but there's the thing with that, right? But she's going to be helping them both out pretty well, all right? Another reason why I'm going to hype her up, because I am excited about her constellations and everything like that, but I think that what really makes her very valuable too is the fact that she's very free-to-pay friendly, right? When I say that, she's somebody that you can just slap EM pieces on and call it a day. Editing legend right here, and actually I want to pause right there. I probably should have been a little bit more specific when it came to what stats to build on her, because you don't always want to just do full EM on her. It all depends on what stat you have. So essentially, the limit of what you want to put on her is 1,000 EM. You don't really want to go over that. You can. It's not really a problem. It's just that there's not going to be much value to her EM once it passes 1,000 EM because of other parts of her kit that I don't fully go into. But yeah, you want to build as much EM as you need in order to get to 1,000 and nothing more. So some people that might be full EM, some people that might be EM Dendro EM, some people that might be EM Dendro crit. So it depends on what you have, what stuff that you have, what weapon is giving, how much EM your weapon's giving you and such. So yeah, so just keep that in mind. All right. Now how you want to build her, right? You're gonna want to build her with either the Dendro set or Gilded Dreams. Either one. It depends. I mean, to be optimal, you want another character to have the Dendro set on, so they reduce the resistance for her and have her on Gilded Dreams. But if you don't have another character on the team that has a Dendro set on, you want her to have the Dendro set, which is going to give her more damage if you do it that way. So that's when it comes to building her. But what makes her free-to-play friendly is her weapon options, right? Now, she has her weapon, which of course is cracked as usual, gives you a bunch of EM, yada yada, right? But you don't necessarily need to get that weapon, right? You don't need to do it. It's going to be stronger if you get the weapon, without a doubt. But you don't need to do it because you have other weapons that are going to do a great job anyway, right? We have Mappa Mare, right? So Mappa Mare has gives you EM, right? And it gives a passive that will increase Nahida's damage. Boom, great. We have Sacrificial Fragments, which is another weapon that's pretty easy to get. And that gives you a lot of EM. Granted, the passive isn't going to help out too much. I mean, you don't need to have her E reset like that or anything like that. But, the EM is good. So there's that, right? I'd rather have Mappa Mare on her, but there we go, all right? You even have the new weapon, Wandering Evenstar, right? I'll still use Mappa Mare over it, but it is a good weapon. It does transfer attack over to your team based on EM. So it actually ends up being really good on Nahida, right? Because it gives EM too, right? you have Witch Sith, right? Which just seems like a damage-based weapon. You know, it gives you crit damage and all this kind of buffs and stuff like that. But one of the buffs gives you EM, and it's going to increase the damage that she does do off-field, which you do want. That's great, right? So Witches is going to be another good thing on her too. Boom, right? You even have something like Magic Guide, a 3-star weapon, Magic Guide. Now, come on, guys, like Magic Guide is a 3-star weapon, but the thing is, though, since she scales off the EM so well, the low base attack isn't going to matter as much, and the passive still helps you out, right? So that's the thing with that, right? So you even have a 3-star weapon option if you do that. I do recommend the Map of Mare the most. Granted, theory crafters are gonna come in here and they're gonna do all the math for you and see which weapon is best and second best and so on and so forth, and listen to them when that does come out. But just know that if you have the ability to get Map of Mare, you are in the clear. You are doing good, right? So that's the thing. She's going to be easy to use, so she's going to have a very good free-to-play option. And then she's also going to be easy to build, and she's going to be good with the Sumeru characters we have now and the Sumeru characters we're going to have in the future, right? I'm confident in that, right? So that's the thing, right? I just think that she's going to be an absolute unit, right? But not only just for free to play, she's going to be good for you small spenders and whales too. Whales like me. Because one of the things I'm very, 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 very excited about is her C2, right? Now her C1 is good, of course. But I'm not going to go into a full kit analysis and talk about all constellations. But I'm going to talk about her C2 for a little bit, right? Now, never in the game have we had a character that straight up changed reactions, right? And that is what Nahida does. So when it comes to Bloom, what she's going to do is she is going to allow blooms to crit.
Boy, ain't no way, boy.
Right? Yeah, exactly. That sounds crazy. But blooms, burgeons, and hyper blooms, she's going to allow them to crit. Now, if you're a Nilo Haver, that sounds absolutely stupendous, right? Granted, it has a set crit rate of 20 and a set crit damage of 100, but still, she's going to double your bloom damage right off the bat, right there, right? 20% chance of that, but if you're doing teams like that, you're doing a lot of blooms, hyper bloom, burgeon, and regular bloom. You pop off a lot of those things to be efficient with those. That means that, like, that's a lot when you have 20% of the time they're going to be critting. That's amazing, right? That's a powerful crack C2. But that's not all. That's not all. Because this is where she starts to become, that's where she becomes even better for Sino. Because part of the C2 is that she shreds 30% defense when you do aggravated spread. What? That's amazing. That is absolutely stupendous. That is wondrous. That she's cracked, she's broken. She's just like Raiden when it comes to her C2, right? Her C2 is essentially her peak. I mean, it's not her peak. I mean, she does have a monstrous C6. But you know, obviously, C6, that's what C6s do. But I think her C2 is going to be the stopping point for a lot of people who are looking to spend, right? People who are thinking C2 or weapon, I'd say C2, most definitely, 100%. I'm confident behind that, right? But yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing when it comes to Nahida, what I think her value is going to be. I hope this wasn't too messy for you guys. You know, I know you're used to a lot of people going into the specific weapons and so on and so forth. But I just want to touch on a few subjects, a few highlights about her kit and what I think the value is going to be for her. Just to kind of get that out the way. And then in the future, we'll see more in-depth reviews on her character kits, you know, more organized in that way. So I hope you did like this. I hope this does help you when it comes to decisions of what you're going to do, because we're going to get some drip marketing soon of the following characters, and people are going to be thinking, oh, what should I get? This character, that character. Get Nahida now. All right. So that's it. That's my that's my 2 cents right there. So let me know what you guys think. Again, if you like the content, like the video, comment your thoughts down below. What do you think of Nahida? What do you think of what I've said? If you already knew about her, You know, is there anything that you think I missed that makes her great? You know, any type of discussion is great. And subscribe to the channel so you can get more content like this. And with that, I'll end it here. Legend out.